What's up, everyone? It's day 13 of phase 1 of the Live Hard program. I just did my third workout of the day. I did my 45-minute outdoor workout. It's about 8 p.m. here in North Texas. Calm night, about 44 degrees, no wind, just real quiet outside. It felt good. I broke a little sweat. I had a few layers on, but nonetheless, it felt good just to be outside and get some fresh air. No real problems with any cravings today. Just woke up around 8 a.m., did about an hour on my treadmill at my house, did my normal hydration, salt, and first Phorm aminos right before getting on the treadmill, 2 bottles of water, did my treadmill, had a protein shake, did my cold shower. I don't remember if I said this yesterday, but my hot water heater, for some reason, doesn't have any power to it. I checked all the obvious things to check, and so it didn't work, but I had to take cold showers anyway, so whatever, right? Deal with it. I did notice that I was doing it right because the cold water is the only thing coming out, and that's how cold it's been. So it's kind of difficult just getting straight into a cold shower compared to taking a nice, comfortable, warm shower and then turning it to cold. But you just yell or something, and the 5 minutes go by pretty quick. Today I made it about right at 4 minutes before I even looked at my timer, and then I just kind of zoned out for the last minute, and then I was like 5 minutes and 20 seconds before I looked at it again. So I went over, which is good, but you only have to do 5 minutes. It just knows that it's not as enjoyable whenever you can't take the hot shower with it first. But anyways, did that. I had to get ready for the day, and I went ahead and hit some shoulders and biceps and triceps at the gym for about 30 minutes. Then I went to McKenzie's softball scrimmage. It was pretty cold outside at that time. It was in the 40s, but the wind was blowing pretty good, so it was like way colder feeling. And the game ended up lasting a little over 2 hours. I don't know why or what they were doing. It was a scrimmage. It was just like they were just letting each other play and get practice, and it was just whatever, but way longer than I expected. Normally their games have a time limit of about an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes, I think. Or sometimes they'll have like a run rule. If they score too many runs, the game's over. But they did pretty good. It was an 8-7 game, so they won. But it was still just like, some of the players are still in basketball, so it was basically JV, junior varsity, and varsity all combined for the 2 different teams. And so they were all just playing each other. But as far as I know, and the way it stands right now, McKenzie made varsity, so that's really cool. It's really enjoyable to go watch them. Last year, they almost made it to the state tournament. And most of the girls that were on that team are still on that team. They didn't graduate. Only 2 of them graduated, so it should be a pretty good year. I'm excited about that. It's a lot of fun. I went out. One thing about the game today I was going to mention was whenever I got there, I noticed, or right where I parked was right up against the outfield fence. So right next to the left field foul pole. I was kind of nervous just in case somebody hit a home run. I would just, have a broken window. But I parked there and I thought, well, I could just sit here and watch the game. But you don't get the full experience whenever you just sit in your truck. So I went out and sat in the bleachers. There wasn't very many people in the bleachers. Most of the people were sitting in their vehicles. But I felt like that was something that was, one, it's more difficult. So I wanted to do it just because of that. It was really cold feeling. So, it wasn't that enjoyable, but sitting there and watching it, the game and all that made up for it. And I had a good time, even though I hate sitting in the bleachers. I don't have one of those stadium seats or anything. So just sitting on those aluminum benches and those bleachers is just pretty uncomfortable on my lower back. It didn't help that I was already sore, but it was awesome. I like being out there. They have another one on Monday. So this one I had to drive about 15, 20 minutes away just because this home field that they were supposed to play at, it was all muddy. And this one they went and played at today was turf, so they didn't have to prepare the field or anything like that. You can play on turf at any time. But there's some studies, I guess, came out from some other countries that playing on turf is actually causing issues because of the tires that they grind up and use as the base layer, the rubbery surface underneath the fake grass, causing health issues. If you know what I'm talking about, or if you don't, you can look into that. Something like pretty serious. Maybe should vote against having that at your kids' schools or speak out about them in general. I don't have enough information on that to give a whole analysis, but something you should look up if you're interested. It's basically AstroTurf or any of these artificial fields, and the layering of the shred up tires and the chemicals that are released from them whenever they're playing on them. Some of the countries, I believe Japan was one of them, that's like, they're banning it. They're not even allowing them in their country anymore. So it's pretty serious, but in the diseases that it's creating, they're legit bad. So you might look into that if you have kids playing sports, or if you play, you know, some type of semi-pro sport. It's not good. So, but anyways, felt good to go outside and do my outdoor cardio. I didn't really have any problems like having motivation to go do it. I was pretty tired whenever I got back from doing that. We went to Sam's and then went to Texas Roadhouse. Whenever you go out to eat, it's pretty good. Pretty good advice to just eat like only protein and vegetables whenever you go out to eat, just because you don't know what they're adding to some of the stuff. And if you get, you know, a baked potato, or it's just better to avoid the rolls or whatever like that. And then like I had an 8-ounce sirloin, because cooked an 8-ounce sirloin, it weighs about 6 ounces. And I had 2 servings of steamed broccoli with no extra butter or anything extra. So that's, to me, that's fine. But you just have to be cautious of what you ask for. And you can say, hey, whenever you're cooking that, don't add any extra oil, or don't add any butter to the vegetables, or whatever. They can usually, you know, accommodate you, whatever you're asking for. Most places you can get, you know, a plain grilled chicken breast and a vegetable side. You don't have to just stop yourself from going and putting yourself in these positions of social activities just because you're doing a program like that. And Andy even talks about it where it's like counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish, because these are the things that you just have to, you know, accept in your life as the things that you're going to have to do. And you still have to live your life, you know, outside of that. You can't just put off doing these things, because then you're just putting yourself in basically a, you know, as a loner, so to speak, and you're not going to have like the same mental toughness mindset as you would if you know, still work on your relationships, or go to the birthday get together or the party. You don't have to drink. Obviously you can't drink if you're doing the program and you're doing it correctly. You're not going to be drinking, but you can drink some, you know, whatever, club soda, or I don't know if that's 0 calories, but I think so. You can drink some water. You can drink, like Andy talks about, coffee. He drinks decaf coffee whenever he goes out from time to time while he's on the program. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to miss out on things. And like that's just something her and I always do. We go to Starbucks a lot, which I'm starting to, I don't know, want to lean away from that just because of things. But we've been doing it for like 10 years, and maybe not 10, but at least 8 at the same place. We just our thing kind of. And then we go to Texas Roadhouse and Cracker Barrel a lot. We usually just get the same things each time we go. But so it's like our thing. And I'm not gonna just put off doing the thing because I'm doing a program like this. You don't have to. That's like whenever you're dieting and you're just real grumpy and you take it out on other people, and people are like, oh, sorry, you're in a bad mood because you're dieting. Like, if you're dieting, it's your decision. You should quit like projecting that onto other people. It was your decision to be on a diet. You shouldn't be mean to other people just because you're hungry. You have to recognize yourself and hold yourself accountable and take charge, and stop letting yourself act out or be in a mood or whatever. But the main message I had for today was this, like I was talking about going to her game. We all need to step up and be better at being there for these moments. Like, for example, today it was a scrimmage and it was cold. So like the game literally didn't matter, but having somebody there, like me, like her dad, or if you're the dad or whatever, your kid's going to remember that. They're always going to remember that when you were there or when you weren't there. And if I'm out of town at work, that's one thing. But if I'm off and I have the ability to be there, I'm going to be there. And even if I have to work and have to drive back 2 hours to make it there to watch it for the last 30 minutes, I'm still going to do that, just because I don't want to miss out on these things. Because once they're over and they're graduated or whatever, if they're after they play college or whatever they do, that's it. You're just going to be looking back on those days as, damn, I wish I would have went. And that's just a regret that I do not want to have. Just, I don't know. I have something else in me that I guess some people haven't really analyzed in themselves, where that's all I care about, really. I don't have anything else that keeps me driven, that keeps me doing things that I need to do to stay on the right path, to, you know, be successful in whatever way that looks, or be a role model and set the example and be somebody that she can be proud of and that I'm also proud of, because that's ultimately what it's all about. You know, showing the way to other people, helping other people get to reach their goals, whatever they may be, setting the example, you know, being a leader, being a role model, taking action and going above and beyond, taking initiative, you know, do things when you're not necessarily asked to do them, just going above and beyond. And whenever that comes to your kids, you need to go above and beyond. They're always going to remember it. And then another thing I wanted to mention was, like, if we're all about taking care of our bodies, and like I'm sure a lot of you are if you're watching this, or if you're doing a program like this, and your kids are in there, like, with any age, it doesn't even matter if they're above whatever, 5 or 6 or 8, or I don't even know. If they're old enough to take vitamins and they need like a supplementation of some type of like vitamin D, for example, or calcium or vitamin C or sea moss, which is really good for anybody, it has 90 of the 102 minerals our bodies need, or even the Celtic sea salt for hydration. Like, I always make sure to buy her products that are going to fit her lifestyle. So she's going through puberty, obviously, if she's 15. And so a lot of the times when people are going through puberty, they're going to have issues with their skin, mostly because of the foods that they're eating. So if you're feeding them poorly, you know, made foods or fake foods or really oily foods with seed oils and all that stuff, they're likely to have hormone issues causing skin issues. And one thing that has helped her, which she didn't really have anything real bad, but I've always helped her, you know, have things to use to, you know, be proactive against that, is sea moss gummies, the Shila gummies. Also, there's a probiotic called Seed, S-E-E-D. Seed is probiotic. That's really good for gut health. If you think about your gut's essentially the roots to your main body. If your brain is like the, you know, the branches and the leaves, and then the core or the trunk going to the roots, right? Your roots, your core really regulates and determines so many things that are going on in your body. If you have a poor digestion, too much bad gut bacteria, not enough good bacteria, you're going to have so many issues that you wouldn't even believe. Your mood, your energy, your hormones, just everything, the way you feel, the way you like get over sicknesses, the way you don't get sick compared to when you do get sick. All these things play a factor in your core or in your gut. And just staying on top of that thing, just be more proactive in involving your kids in these things, because likely they're eating trash foods and they have all these different chemicals. And most countries around the world do parasite cleanses like every 3 to 6 months, but I've never once in the United States heard people talk about giving their kids one or getting one. I've never taken one until like the last couple of years. And it's just something that you need to be proactive about. You need to look into that. That's another thing that causes so many issues. It could be the whole reason they're acting crazy. Sometimes these kids are acting out. They just maybe need attention. Maybe they need you to stop, ignoring them while you're sitting on your phone. Maybe they need better diets. Maybe they need a parasite cleanse, but they mostly just need something to do and give them a hobby. It doesn't necessarily have to be video games. They can learn how to do certain things that they can just focus in on and use that attention on that and just keep their hands moving with stuff. Just be more aware of other alternatives than just, take them to the doctor and get some medicine. That's just the last thing you should ever think about doing. But stay on top of that. Know that there's a lot of products that kids can take and that kids are going to be deficient in, and you want them to be, like, if you think about it, a teenager in puberty, this is the time when you want them to have all the advantages, every last drop of anything that they can have, because this is gonna be what puts them at their like basically their peak adult like state. You want them to be, you know, unhealthy or healthy. You want them to be fat or in shape. You want them to be, you know, conscious of what to put in their bodies and what not to put in their bodies, and what kind of activity levels to do, and how to drink water, and stay on top of their supplements and the things like that. You have to set the example. It's up to us. So don't just think that you're the only one that needs these products and whatnot. If you have to, and I'm not just talking about supplements, it could be the way that you eat, it could be all these things. I know a lot of people that are dieting and their parents, and they'll be like, well, they're not going to eat what I'm eating, so then I'm going to make them their chicken tenders and chicken nuggets and all that stuff, and I'm going to eat the ground turkey. No, you need to cut that out. They need to eat healthy, and they need to eat what you tell them that they're going to eat. They don't need to eat whatever that they always want because they're picky eaters and you don't want to hurt their feelings. No, you give them something. If they don't want it, then they don't eat. That's it. They're only going to go so long without eating. I promise you that. You got to get them to try things. It doesn't matter what they say. If they want chicken tenders every meal, too bad. They need to eat what you're eating. Don't play that game. You're the parent. You're the person in charge. You have to set the tone for the house. Put your foot down. And that's just the way it is. I know some people like to avoid confrontation and they don't want their kids to be mad at them. That's why they let them do everything they want. But too bad. This is a matter of literal good health or bad health. Like, what are you doing? So some of you may not agree with that. That's okay. It's okay to be wrong, but you need to correct that in your mind. And anyways, I appreciate everybody showing support, liking and sharing and subscribing. It means a lot, reading messages that help get me to, you know, see what I need to do that may help better build up this channel better, because I'm not going to stop. This is going to keep going. It's not going to be just me doing the Live Hard program. It's going to turn into more and more things other than just the cookie reviews. My daughter and I do cookie reviews. If you haven't seen any of them, you can scroll on my videos. I order different cookies from usually the same style cookies, but from different places all across the country. Usually I just look up cookie companies on Instagram or on Shopify, and we try them and eat them and tell you how they taste, whether they are worth trying, whether they're made healthy or not, just how much they are. We do that. That's something I thought of doing. That's what we started this channel on. But while I'm doing this program, I can't do cookie reviews, obviously. So here we are. We're doing videos on motivation and ways to correct the example we're not setting. That's good. So anyways, I'll be back tomorrow for day 14. Peace.